Aloha, and thank you for watching the Creative Challenge Art Contest instructional video. The contest was originally designed as a way to teach middle school students about the important topic of organ and tissue donation. We found this is a good way to teach young people about a life-saving topic that is sometimes in the past considered to be taboo. Students in the classroom immediately engaged. They ask questions, and in the end, we find that they are a lot more confident about decisions they'll have to make in the future. Today, we want to help you learn how to present the Creative Challenge in your own classrooms. There are 6 stages that this program is divided into, and today we will go over each of those 6 stages. The stages are introducing organ and tissue donation, defining what a transplant is, taking care of yourself, hearing personal testimonies, learning about advocacy, and presenting the Creative Challenge Art Contest opportunity. Introducing organ and tissue donation. We find it very important to capture students' attention immediately. We do that in a number of ways, such as handing out prizes for questions answered, usually like fruit snacks. We also ask a lot of questions to get the students interacting with us and to let them know that this program is designed specifically for them. Some of the questions we may ask is, raise your hand if you would save a life. Hands immediately pop up. We ask questions like, what's your definition of a hero? Or do you know someone that's very sick? Students begin to tell their own stories and interact. You'll be surprised with some of their answers. If they answer questions such as, yeah, my auntie and uncle were very, very sick, we connect that with Legacy of Life, works with people that are very sick. I am excited about talking to you. This is my favorite part of what my job is to come in to talk to students and to let them know about something that's very important. I work for a company called Legacy of Life Hawaii, and I'm guessing most of you have probably not heard about it, but it does affect a lot of people that are around you that you might not even realize it. So the very first thing I do before I can do anything with the rest of the day is I have to find out how you're thinking. So I have a couple questions for you. Number 1, if you could save a life, raise your hand if you would. This is not a trick question. If you could save a life, raise your hand if you would. Okay, very good. Number 2, can anyone tell me their definition of what a hero is? Anybody know what's a hero?
Somebody that saves a person.
Someone that's courageous, somebody that saves a person. That's a good idea. My definition of a hero is someone that is brave, someone that is courageous, someone that is willing to make a sacrifice for something that is more important. And so basically, I work for a company called Legacy of Life, like I said, and we are the only organization in the state of Hawaii that is designated by the government to recover organs and tissues for transplants. What does that mean? It means I work with very, very, very sick people, and it means I work with people that are very brave and help them. Defining what a transplant is. This is a good time to find out what your students already know. You can ask them, does anybody know what a transplant is? And how would you define a transplant? You'd be surprised to hear their stories. So many have aunties, uncles that have experienced this, and sometimes it opens up the time for discussion. Here are some helpful tips. Ask students, what is a transplant? Recite a clear and simple definition of a transplant and provide an example. Ask students for their own examples of transplants. Introduce organ and tissue transplants and teach them what organs and tissues can be transplanted. Use posters and other interesting facts about donation, such as one person can save up to 8 lives. Select real-life stories from the provided list to tell students examples of how organ and tissue donation has saved and enhanced lives. So, let me see, how many of you have heard the word transplant before? Raise your hand if you've heard the word transplant. Oh, good amount. Okay, can somebody be brave and tell me what a transplant is? Yes, you were first.
It's where you take organ out of your body and you put it in somebody else's body.
That's a very good definition of a transplant. It's even more simple than that. It can be an organ, but a transplant is basically when you take one thing that is working, it's functioning, it's doing well in one area, and you move it to another area. It works and it functions in the same way that it did in the first area and the second area. So let's use that as our definition, and let me ask you this. How many of you have ever gone to another school before? Any other school besides Aliamanu Intermediate?
Okay, everybody, right? Because you're not elementary anymore. Okay, so how many of you had tests at your other school? Raise your hand. Have you had teachers? Keep your hands raised. Okay, there are other students there? Yeah, duh, Miss Tiffany. Okay, hands down. You are at Aliamanu Intermediate School now. You're at a new school, and do you still have tests? Yes or no? Yeah. You still have teachers? Yes, and are there other students? Yeah. By our definition, are you a transplant? Yeah, you're a transplant. So I know that a lot of times people say organ transplant, but can anybody tell me outside of body stuff, what else is something that might be able to be transplant? In the back.
Like if you have like a mechanical pencil and
the lid.
Yeah,
the lid. Think fast. Yes, good catch. It can be transplanted. Anything else that can be, yes. Car engine, all car parts can be transplanted. All right, so you get the idea. You can transplant a plant. You can move it from one area. I can take it here. I can move it to Kauai. It can still grow. Anything that's functioning in the same way. So what happens is sometimes there are people that get very, very, very sick. How many of you have met anybody that's been very sick or have been very sick? It's really sad, right? What we do is help people that are in that position. So sometimes the body gets so very sick that an organ begins to have failure. That means that it no longer can operate the way that it was, and what happens is you need a transplant. So just like we talked about taking one thing that's working and functioning and putting it in the other area, they do that with organs. So there are different organs that can be transplanted. So what type of organ, have you heard of organs that can be transplanted? Can anybody think of an organ that can be transplanted? Yes. Your kidneys. Your kidneys can be transplanted. How many kidneys do you have? 2. How many do you need?
1.
1 kidney. You have 2 kidneys, but you only need 1. So you can definitely give another kidney away. What else can be given away? Ooh, lots of hands over their thread shorts. Your heart. Your heart can be given away. Absolutely. Good catch. Your heart, whenever somebody passes away, the heart is actually something that can be transplanted from somebody else and can give them life. Now, we talked about the kidneys. You obviously have 2 and you only need 1. And then the heart, how many hearts do you have? 1. Yes, that's true. So if I give away my heart, how can I live and give away my heart? No. So do I have to die to be an organ donor, Miss Tiffany? What do you think? Do you have to die to be an organ donor? No, you don't have to die to be an organ donor, but can I die and still be an organ donor? Yes. Very good, because you can give away different things. What's something else that you can give? Okay, let's see here, all over the place. Back there.
Lungs.
Your lungs. Lungs are definitely an organ that you can give away. Good catch. So, right here, we have the organs that people can give away. You saw this, huh? 1 person can save up to 8 lives. 1 person can save 8 lives. You can give away your lungs, your heart, your kidneys, the pancreas, your intestines, and also your liver. So 1 person can save up to 8 people. But we found out that 1 person can also enhance the lives of over 50 people. Can anyone tell me what the word enhance means? Yes, in the back.
Like it improves the function of it?
Perfect. Enhance means to improve, to make better. So there are a whole bunch of other things that you can give outside of organs. Can anyone tell me that's in your body, something that's flowing all the time through your system? Yes, right there. You can't give your brain yet. That's something that we still have. It's something that's constantly blood. There are blood drives that happen all the time. Because if you're in a car accident and people get busted up, what do they need? A lot more blood. So that's something that people give. What else can people give? Yes. Bone marrow. What else can something? Yes. Hair. Hair means a lot. I know that it seems like, oh, well, my hair can be crazy sometimes. It doesn't want to do what I want to do. But when you meet a little child that has lost all their hair because they've had cancer treatment, do you know how much that means? So much to them, right? So it means a lot to be even able to donate your hair. It can help to improve their life. But here's some things right here, since you can, 1 person can enhance the lives of 50 people, things that you can give. Heart valves. Skin, that helps a lot of people that have been in burn victims, right? Tendons, cartilage, bone, and your corneas, your eyes. Those are all things that can be given.
A priority for Legacy of Life Hawaii is to encourage health and wellness in our communities. So we want to remind students that they have just one body, so take care of it. Ways to do this is to remind them of how to stay fit and healthy. Examples would be to remind them to eat good foods, to exercise, to stay away from things like tobacco and alcohol and all kinds of drugs. This is the perfect opportunity to tie in your curriculum, especially in health and science classes. We encourage you to use this time for discussion.
How many bodies do you have? One body. I want to encourage you that you take really, really good care of yourself. See, right now we're talking about people that go on the transplant list because they have organ failure. They get very, very, very sick. And so right now, there's a waiting list in our country. The waiting list is for people that have become sick. What happens is when they get sick and they need a new organ, the doctor talks to them and their family, and once they're at that point, they say, your option is to get a new organ. Now first, they're usually gonna check, like if it's a kidney or something, is there somebody that's in your family that can match up and can maybe give you an organ? But if not, then they're put on this waiting list. It's called the National Waiting List. Have any of you heard of it? Raise your hand if you've ever heard of the waiting list besides me talking about it. Okay, some of you, most of you. The waiting list right now in our country is 123,472 people. Could you imagine how you would feel if you were told, okay, you're going to be 123,473? That's a long list to wait, right? It's crazy. I don't even like waiting in traffic. It takes so long sometimes. It's really hard. Or waiting at a restaurant and they're like, okay, you got to wait an hour. And you're hungry and your stomach's going nuts. You're like, no, give me something to eat right now. This is a waiting list for your life. And this is what a lot of people go on for various reasons. Now I said you have how many bodies? One. How many? One. Take care of your bodies. What are some things that you could do that cause your body to become sick? Yes. Cigarettes. Cigarettes and actually weed, pacololo, anything like that can make your body really, really sick. I know people are like, oh, weed's not so bad. There are 33 cancer-causing chemicals inside of weed. And people don't know that. They think, oh, okay, it's not as bad as tobacco, but still bad. If there's going to be some cancer-causing chemical and I'm like, hey, you want some of this? You know, drink it up. No, probably not. But it's not, it doesn't seem that way. They're like, oh, it's cool. So there's other things that can make your body so sick. What else can make your body sick? Yes. Alcohol, all kinds of alcohol. People get excited about alcohol, but it can cause your system to die and affect the liver and affect all types of parts of the body. Okay, what else? What you drive through and get all the time? Fast food all the time. A lot of these different restaurants, they can be fast. You can get something from it real quick, but a lot of the stuff on it isn't really good for you. And just junk food like candy bars, cake, cookies. We're about to go into Christmas. If having too much of it, having too much of it is not good for us. I love ice cream. I love ice cream. I can eat it every day, but should I? Tell me that again because I need to know that. I shouldn't eat it every day. Miss Tiffany, you have one body. You can only eat so much every day, okay? So what else can you do to make your body healthy? What kind of things can we do to keep healthy? Yes? Eat beans. Okay, eat plenty of beans. All right, eat healthy foods, right? What else is a healthy food? Besides beans, anything else healthy? Yes? Exercise. That's something you got to keep your body moving. Keep your stress down. Tell people, don't stress me out, right? Because that can cause tension inside of your body. What else should we be drinking a lot of? Water. Lots of water. Water makes a big difference. Water can help clear your skin, help detoxify your system. Water is so good for you. We need to be drinking lots of water because I see people all the time that are either waiting on this list. I work with people that have been on this list themselves, and I know that sometimes it's not their fault, but a lot of times we want to make sure that we are doing everything so that I don't have to see or you don't have to be on this list yourself, right? So we want to keep ourselves as healthy as possible.
Hearing personal testimonies. At this point, we let the students know, we know that you're hearing a lot of facts and information about organ and tissue donation, But at the heart of this is people. So we asked them, is it okay if we show you a short clip so you can see real life stories of people that live in the islands that you live in and how this has affected their lives? We also remind them to listen carefully because we'll ask them questions after the video. Once the video is played, we go back and ask them questions such as, do you remember every blank minute somebody is added to that waiting list? Students raise their hands and often remember that it's 10 minutes. We ask them questions about how the recipients felt. Did they feel grateful? And we ask them the very important question about how donor families felt. Were they comforted by their decision? This is a very moving time. So it's important to go back and let them know and feel and express what was going on in their minds at this point.
Now there's a lot of things that I want to tell you this morning, now that you have a little bit about idea about what I'm talking about. But if it's okay, I want to stop for a minute and I want to show you a movie. It's a real quick clip, but I want your full attention because these are the stories of the people that have walked through this.
So you guys got to just watch the video and see some real people. I know the people on that video that went through this themselves, either donor families or what I like to call them our hero families, or some recipients and what they went through. Now let me ask you a couple questions. Number one, the donor families that their loved one is able to help save a life, did they seem pleased that they were able to help other people? They seem pleased? Yeah. That's a huge thing. It's a big gift to make in a tough spot, but it is something that causes them in a very dark place to be able to have some type of hope that their loved one was such a hero, and it helps them to know that somebody else will be able to live in an otherwise very hard time for them. Number two, what about the recipients? Did they seem grateful for their gift? Beyond belief. They're so grateful, yes, that they had the opportunity to be able to continue on. There was a statistic inside of here. Let's see who is paying attention. On there it said that every blank minutes, another person is added to that list. What was it? Every 10 minutes? Every 10 minutes, somebody is added to that waiting list. So how long is this class period? Yeah.
51 minutes.
51 minutes. How many people are added to the list during that time? In 51 minutes. How many people? 5 people are added to that list. Right while we're in this room, 5 people are added to that list. The truth is, less than 2% of people will ever get to be an organ donor. What? Less than 2% of people. So when you sign up, a lot of times it's just to show that you support, because a lot of people won't ever be able to get to be an organ donor. Why do you think it's less than 2%? What kind of things affect whether or not you can be a donor? Yes?
What they put inside their body.
What's going on with your body? Yes, in the back?
Your overall health.
Your overall health? Yes?
Blood type.
Blood type's a big one. All these things contribute to whether or not you can ever be an organ donor. So a lot of it is just, is that something that would be in your heart to be able to do, is whether or not you would want to be an organ donor. Because a lot of people whenever get the chance, I have people ask all the time, how old do I have to be? What's the oldest? Do I get to be too old? The oldest donor was actually in their 90s. That's old, yeah? They must have taken really good care of their body. And babies have even been able to be donors. So there's a very, very wide range of when and how you can be an organ donor.
Learning about advocacy. Most students agree that the long waiting list is a problem, so this is a good time to teach them about advocacy. We feel this is a good way to foster the next compassionate, giving, and caring generation. So we teach about advocacy. We teach what ribbons stand for, like the pink ribbon or the green ribbon. We teach them to stand for what they believe in, and we give them the opportunity to advocate through participating in the Creative Challenge Art Contest.
So what I want to do with you now is let you know about an opportunity that your school is giving you. There's so many people that need to know more about this. I had a very, very close friend of mine at 17 years old have a heart attack. And that changed my whole world, and it made it very important to me to be an organ donor, and it changed my whole concept of things. And from that point on, I wanted to advocate organ donation. Does anyone know what advocate or advocacy means? Yes.
Tell people more.
Yes, it means to support. It's actually one of your standards, and health standard number 7 inside of this class is to support, to stand for something, to believe in something. And that's why I have this green ribbon on my shirt, and we carry bracelets, and I have this little green ribbon tattoo here that is a temporary tattoo because it helps people to learn about what organ donation stands for. How many of you have seen a ribbon before? Any type of ribbon, any color, name something, a color that you see. Red, purple, black. Yes. Not Mickey Mouse. All these color, breast cancer, and all types of different things. The green ribbon stands for life. It stands for life and for those that are waiting on the waiting list and for those that have given the gift of life. So today we're going to give you the opportunity to support that through what we call our Creative Challenge Art Contest.
Presenting the Creative Challenge Art Contest opportunity. At this point, students can be handed the Creative Challenge Art Contest packet. Inside is information on the wait list, commonly asked questions, what organs and tissues can be given, helpful hints, and an entry form to enter the Creative Challenge Art Contest competition. We'll also provide you with wristbands and temporary tattoos in case the students are interested in advocating an organ and tissue donation. We encourage students and teachers to go through every page so that they can feel confident that they are participating successfully.
What I want to give you now is the opportunity, and your teachers are going to have you be part of a competition. You can take one and pass it back. Like I said, it's called our Creative Challenge Art Contest, and it gives you the opportunity to draw your impression on what it means to be an organ donor, on what donation is and what transplantation is. See, I just want you guys to be creative. Whatever you can think of, you guys come up with the best ideas. They're so unique. So this one is Give a Lay of Life. That's perfect. It helps to encourage people what it's all about. Or this one, After Every Rain Comes a Rainbow, Be an Organ Donor. All these things help to encourage people. And I'm going to leave these pictures so that you can look at them. So what we're going to ask you to do is draw a picture of what you feel or what you've learned. There's a couple key tips that I want to let you know. Your teachers will go over a little bit more further, I guess, the next day at time that you see them. But here are some tips I gotta let you know. It breaks my heart when I get an amazing piece of art, but then I can't use it because of something minor. So number 1 tip, and I've seen this a lot of times. How do you spell donor? That's how you spell donor. I try to let everybody know. D-O-N-O-R, donor. Sometimes we don't see it very often, so a lot of times I see donar or donor, okay? It hurts me when you have an incredible picture and then it says be a donor. And I can't use it because then they're like, oh, Hawaiian doesn't know how to spell. So we have to make sure that we can use things that we know. So that's how you spell donor. Secondly, this is a big one. The pictures need to be horizontal because the calendar is horizontal. Which way is horizontal? Show me with your paper. Horizontal? This is horizontal. Please make sure your art is horizontal. Because if not, like last year I had the best piece of art from a school. It was so good. I would have wanted to use it for the calendar, but it was vertical. And if the instructions aren't followed, I'm not allowed to use it. I had people ask me, please, can you just make the exception? But I'm not allowed to use it. So please make sure that your art is horizontal and not vertical, okay? So that's a big one. Next, I want to remind you, you can do all kinds of things. You can color. I love lots of color. I love when you put your own ideas into things, but make sure that you don't use somebody else's logo. What's a logo? Yeah. You can buy everywhere. It's copyrighted image, like the Coca-Cola symbol or the Nike check mark. We got to make sure that we can't use those, that we use our own things, because then it can be seen as stealing, right? So we want to make sure that we use our own logo, we use our own work and not other people's logos whenever we're creating the art that goes into the calendar. And so then they come back to me and we have a whole team, it's a committee, and they vote on them and they're able to choose it, and then we announce the winners and it goes back to your teachers and then it comes to you and you get a certificate. Every student that is involved gets a certificate, and then you would get your prizes or whatever we're able to win.
Over the past 5 years, we've seen the Creative Challenge Art Contest grow and positively affect so many students throughout our state. They have the opportunity to learn about a subject that so many of us in previous generations knew very little about. We believe this will help them to make informed decisions and feel confident in standing for what they believe in. If it wasn't for teachers like you, none of this would be possible. So we thank you for that. For more information about the Creative Challenge Art Contest, feel free to call us at 599-7630 or visit us online at www.legacyoflifehawaii.org, or you can email us at outreach@legacyoflifehawaii.org. Thank you so much for your time.